Hello again for the final time of the 2010 football season, football fans. I'm Aaron Schoonmaker with Dan Spears. And just as we always do, we're going to recap the season. We're going to be real brief about it because we got a great soundtrack to the top plays of the year. Mine's one was kind enough to get us some music, and I was sitting down with it for a long time. But Dan, let's get into the top storylines. What did we see this 2010 season? Let's go conference by conference, starting in the Mid-Eastern.
Sure. It's a little bit of upheaval, I think, for once. You're used to the same teams being the good ones, and this year there was a little bit of mix-up. Hoggard down a little bit, and Laney up a little bit, and it's nice to see a little bit of change. New Bern ended up running away with things, but like I said, it's nice to see things a little bit different for once around here.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, what I go back to is you talk about Laney. Back at the Jamboree, Greg Dietz, we sat down and talked to him. He called it that his team was going to make a turnaround, especially on the offensive side of the ball, especially in that passing game. We saw that.
Yeah, they did. They knew what they were talking about. Here's Greg talking about that way back in August.
Michael Sheehan's going to be a great quarterback for us with Ernest Andrews out there, Tevin Clay out there, Laquan Grady. Those guys are going to do a great job for us on offense and our offensive linemen. You know, Stephen Metzger, a senior there. We're going to have a great offensive squad.
Yeah, he saw that coming. Another thing we kind of saw coming was a little bit of a top-heavy Waccamaw. Some of those teams in the Waccamaw that really excelled, and we thought they would.
Well, East Bladen, you know, is always going to be good.
Yeah.
South Columbus returned to form after a one-year hiccup last year, and South Brunswick, we saw that they had a lot of offensive pieces. Could they put it together? Well, they certainly did. I mean, it was probably you know, second or third best team in the area by the end of the season. So very top heavy there, and that helped them in the playoffs. Those teams looked good once they got to the postseason.
There was a surprising win in the middle of it by Whiteville over East Bladen.
Sure.
A couple things you kind of expect and you don't expect, as it's going to go with every season. One thing that one of the running backs saw coming is a 2,000-yard season, and we got that at the Jamboree as well.
Yeah, Rontonio Stanley for South Columbus said, "I'm going to get 2,000 yards," and sure enough, he proved it. Here's the clip.
Both you guys going 1,000 yards this year?
Yeah. I don't know about him. Nah, we going more than 1,000. We're going about 2,000 this year. I got to make up for last.
2,000 each?
Yeah, it don't matter to us.
Both of those backs really had some good success.
Yep.
A conference that had some good success, especially into the playoffs, was the Tri-County.
Well, that was, with Wallace Rose Hill up there, you know the conference is always going to be talked about, and then Pender finally got its breakthrough season, getting to the state championship this year. Again, 5 teams in state quarterfinals, 3 in the state semifinals. It was the premier conference for the little schools across the state. It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
And just some awesome football being played. There were about 3 or 4 weeks in a row there. There was just a huge can't-miss-it game going on in that league. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. You throw Union into the mix and the depth that Hobton and Lakewood were able to accomplish.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about James Keenan yet. So,
yeah.
I mean, there you go. I mean, 6 great teams that they had this year. It was very impressive football.
A couple good head coaches, too. I'm sure we'll see those names again as print comes out.
Yeah, something tells me that we're going to be talking about the Tri-County Conference when the all-area teams come out on Christmas Day.
Another team from around the area that found some success this year, East Duplin over in the East Central. We expected some good things. They didn't disappoint.
No, they didn't, and they had a tough playoff loss to Tarboro, which was Brian Aldridge's final game with the Panthers. He'd been there for over 2 decades. They really, really wanted to get to a state championship to send him out the door that way. It would have been a very, very fitting end to a very classy guy.
Right.
But another great season over there, went undefeated, I think like 12-0, 13-0 heading into that Tarboro game, which they lost at home just by a couple points. So they lived up to expectations and unfortunately couldn't get that last step that they were really looking for.
Absolutely. Well, we are going to have the all-area teams coming out next week. Christmas Day, I believe, is when they come out in the newspaper, so be looking for that. Some names that you've probably been hearing all year long.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they find that list.
There's several that you know are going to be on there, and I think everybody around here knows them too. You know, Mike Sheehan is kind of obvious. Tevin Clay is kind of obvious. Omar Carr is kind of obvious.
Yep.
And then you're going to see some names on there. You're like, wow, I didn't realize he had that good of a year. We all sat down on the staff after we got all the nominations from the coaches and everything, sat down as a group, Aaron, myself, Chuck Carey, Brian Mull, Tim Howard, Tom Grady. That was one of the most interesting conversations we've ever had for all-area team because there were so many good players this year. So making the all-area team this year was definitely an accomplishment if you managed to get on one of those top 2 teams.
Yeah, we sat down and we're hoping to have a 10-minute meeting. We looked at our clocks. It was about 45, 50 minutes later. We're like, oh, we need to get going. So,
yeah.
So it was tough for us to decide, and every
That's
player
right.
on that team is more than deserving.
Oh,
so.
Absolutely, absolutely. Congratulations to everybody in advance that's on there. Like we said, Christmas Day,
Yep.
Star News Online. online and in the Star News print edition as well.
Absolutely. And now the part that you've been waiting for. We've talked about all what's going on. Now you get to see all the best highlights, all the best clips, the best hits from throughout the season. Once again, a special thanks to Minds One for hooking up the soundtrack to it.
Thank you.
You enjoy all the great hits and great highlights, and we'll be back for you next year. Thanks, guys.
So we explode with phrases, impact with words, rearrange everything, sentences emerge when you expand your mind and find reinvention. Unhinge the rhyme, a brand new design. Explode with phrases, impact with words, rearrange everything, sentences emerge. You wouldn't know how to make progress, but you keep on playing it safe.
Allen Iverson, cross over your ankle and feet. I make mangling beats, a beat easier than anger than sheets in a textbook. My left hook converting the intervals.
So educate the masses.
I'm working the syllables, considering the element used. A few simile, atomic, dialect, nuclear energy, biological warfare. It's not the heat and the guns reaching the beacon when I'm speaking in puns. My tongue dissects the binary. The vocab is the code. Hand chalk slang.
Keep playing like that, baby. Keep playing like that. We take the ring home. Let's go, dude.
In the literal sense.
So we explode with phrases, impact with words, rearrange everything, sentences emerge when you expand your mind and find reinvention. Unhinge the rhyme, a brand new design. Yeah, my man, that was a vivid demonstration. The only limit to the rhyme,
Lack of innovation.
they're on the radio all the time.
Cats are imitation.
I'm going crazy in the mind.
Relax and be patient. Match your frustration with incredible technique.
The industry is killing me.
Skip to the next beat, the best beat digging in crates, yo. Scratch your tapes of old school, that'll get you in shape, it's timeless.
Why do people gravitate to the fake?
They spineless.
You mean the whole design just to implode?
Make your rhymes do the opposite mode. Force imagery, talk symmetry with a topical flow. Exhibit style when you rock the show.
The more energy I feel naturally, passion is brought descriptive. Snapshot, slap shot, Stanley Cup, capture your thoughts.
Exactly.
So we explode with phrases, impact with words, rearrange everything, sentences emerge when you expand your mind and find reinvention. Unhinge the rhyme, a brand new design. Explode with phrases, impact with words, rearrange everything, sentences emerge. You wouldn't know how to make progress, but you keep on playing it safe. I guess whatever we could do, they could do. Better not like me. Better chance lightning's gon' strike me twice. Devils dance to my tunes on the moon nightly. Prowling downtown, wolves howling. Step with exact plans, slap hands with the trash can. That's my man's with Antarctic. Muscle freeze, heart disease, a large orbit. Rustling the leaves with moves, it's on target. I could play the part, I bet. Hey yo, show's about to start. Find a landing pad and park it. Mine's one cut with a clever design. All of these rhymes wanted dead or alive for setting fire to the dark.
Got MCs front, total masquerade, MCs
casualties, however regrettable and however tragic, and other issues have to be secondary to the primary goal of eliminating the enemy and doing it with whatever methods are necessary to achieve it.